Hey YouTube, this is Brandon, and I appreciate you for joining me today. This is the very first episode of Taylorsfiresmoke barbecue and cooking show. Today I'm going to be doing a 14-pound choice brisket. It's going to be a trial run of sorts. I'm going to be showing you my trimming process, my seasoning process, and just what I typically do when I do a brisket, especially from my house. Appreciate you tuning in. If you enjoy this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button and notification bell. I appreciate it. Sit back and enjoy the video. Alright, so we're back at this brisket. What we have here is about a 14-pound choice brisket. This one is not the prettiest brisket, but that's okay. Once you get it seasoned up and cooked, you'll never know how ugly it was when you came out the wrapper. I'm not the type that takes a ton of fat off my briskets, just enough to make it look decent. Fat caps, get in the deco a little bit, get some of this fat off, the nasty fat from off of it, and then season it up. So that's what we're going to do. Let me get at it. See all this nasty fat in here. You want to get a lot of that out. It's not going to cook out of there. It's not going to taste good. So go ahead and get in there. And don't be afraid to get in there, because that fat runs deep in this brisket. So you're not going to ruin anything by getting in there deep or playing around with it. Just go and get in there and get it out of there. There's a lot of marbling in there, so you don't have to worry about that drying out. Once you season it, it's going to come out great. A little bit more fat out of here. One thing you also want to make sure you have sharp knives when you're dealing with trimming or anything of the sort. It's a dull knife that'll normally have you cut yourself and get you hurt. So you're sitting there hacking at meat, trying to cut through it. If you get you a nice sharp knife, you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. Doesn't say it have to be the most expensive knife, but make sure it's sharp. Alright. We are going to take a good portion off the fat cap. If you cut through it some, don't worry about it. It's not going to hurt anything at all. I don't like to try to spend a lot of time on trimming briskets, especially if you have a lot of them to do. You could spend a ton of time trimming, and you're already going to be out there on the smoker for hours. So I try to cut time where I can. Trim them to a certain degree. When you get them cooked, you can actually do some trim or scrape some of that fat off that you don't want, and save yourself some time that way too. This particular brisket has some flaws in it from when they processed it. You see this big nick in there, and another nick right here. We will smooth that out. I don't like that. It is burning to a crisp. So we're just going to smooth that out real good. A little bit more fat on here. Alright. That's it. Like I said, I don't spend a ton of time on trimming. Try not to. I try to get in and get out. I don't like to waste meat. Trimming and cutting notches and all that stuff out of my briskets. That's just me personally. You can look at them when I cook them. I know that which way the grain is running in this particular brisket, and I'll remember that. So I don't have to. I don't want to cut a big notch out or nothing like that. I don't personally. To each his own to who that does, but I personally do not. And now we're ready to season. Generally, when I season my briskets, all I use is SPG, salt, pepper, garlic, sometimes a little onion powder, but today I'm going to use my salt, my pepper, and also a pork barrel barbecue rub that I got from a local big box store. I like that because I usually use it on chicken as part of my chicken rub. It's savory, a lot of different little spices, and it's pretty good. It's not, award-winning or anything, but I personally like it. Never use it on brisket, but we're going to try that on this brisket today. A little practice, just like anything, just like even whatever you want to be great at, you have to practice at it from time to time. So that's what we're going to do today, and I'm pretty sure it's going to come out well. So we're going to start with our salt. I don't need any binder. This thing is already pretty sticky as it is. So we're going to start with our salt and pepper, let it sit for a little bit. Then we're going to come back with the pork barrel barbecue with seasoning, and then I will go from there. So what we're going to use is coarse sea salt first, and we are going to season this thing liberally. Thick piece of meat that goes through a lot of cooking. It's going to omit a lot of juice, so you want to make sure you season it really liberally. And don't be afraid to get in there with it. Lift up that flat and get under there, where that point is, and get that thing seasoned up real well. Now when I do the fat cap, I do season the fat cap with just salt. I don't waste rub or anything on the fat. But I do believe personally that the salt does help break down some of this fat, so I do season that liberally as well with just salt. Alright. Get that puppy back over. Now we're going to come with the pepper. Again, liberally with the pepper as well. Alright. Looking good. It's actually still pretty moist under there, so we're just going to go ahead on and use our pork barrel barbecue rub. I don't know if you can see that. Come back with that. Just to add a little bit different layer to this particular brisket. Like I said, sometimes you want to try new things to see what you come up with. Get in there real good with that. And that's it, guys. Like I say, this particular season has got garlic, onion, different spices, ancho, chili pepper, smoked paprika, mustard, chili flakes, celery seeds, cilantro. So it's a little different, a little bit more savory, a little bit more aromatic. But when you're putting it on beef and you're smoking it, actually does have a really, really good flavor. And we're going to see what it does to this particular brisket. So that's trimming, that's seasoning. I'm going to let it sit for a little bit, go get our smoker hot. And the next time I see you, we'll be being at the smoker. So stay tuned. All right, we're back out here at my smoker. What we're using today is actually a Masterbuilt gas smoker. It's the 44-inch Sportsman Elite. It's actually a pretty nice smoker once you do a few modifications to it, the way you can get a little more smoke. It's a lot easier to use, you know, during this time with the quarantining and everything, and the kids not in school. It's a lot easier for me to be put something on, especially if I'm doing something for the house. Put on this thing and I can still attend to my kids and help them with their schoolwork and not now have to tend to a fire and worry about as much in regards to making sure the stuff stays hot or the fire stays stoked or whatnot. So it's a little more convenient to use this on a day like today, where especially when I'm just doing something for the house, and I can put it on here, maintain the chunks that I'm using, which I'm using mesquite chunks in this today, and still achieve a delicious product. So we're going to use this Sportsman Elite today. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on, and well, that's that. I'm gonna run it on the top rack today. I just prefer on the top rack. We're gonna spritz it every few hours, but I'm not gonna spritz it for at least 2, maybe 3 hours. I'm not even gonna worry about it for at least probably the first 2 hours. Then we're gonna come out here, we're gonna look at it, and we're gonna begin spritzing it every couple hours, or every hour on the hour after that. So we're just going to put it in and let it do its thing. And the next time I see you will be a couple hours in. And we'll check out this baby and see how it's looking. Alright, we're back out here. It's been about 2 hours. So we're going to check on this brisket, spritz it down. What I'm using, just a regular garden variety sprayer. Thing works great. Don't have to do a lot of pumping. It's pretty even, so this is what I use to spray. Look at that brisket. And if you can see, it's doing well. The seasoning is starting to form on there pretty good, so you can go ahead and spritz it. Keep it moist. It's got good color. Trying to do a few items and some for the week. That way the kids will have food to eat throughout the week. The wife will work or whatever. So we got some ribs and some chicken on there as well. We're gonna go ahead and give that stuff a spritz as well. Spritz it down real good and close her back up and give her another hour or so and come back out and do the same thing. What I've got in my bottle is half water, half apple juice. Sometimes I mix it up and put a little apple cider vinegar in there as well. But today we're just using water and apple juice. Alright, we'll be back at it. Alright, we're back out here at the smoker. It's been probably another 2 hours or so since we were last out. I'm going to show you guys the final spritz I'm going to do on the smoker. The next time you're going to see me, we're going to be inside and we're going to be wrapping this thing up. But I'm going to let you get a good look at what it's looking like now. This is about 5.5 hours in. You can see, let me just pull it on out. And you can see how pretty this thing is. Beautiful color all the way around. You can see it's actually starting to pull liquid on it, so that's what you want when you're cooking brisket. Eventually it's going to start secreting its own juices, and that's what you want. That bark and everything is set the way I like it. I don't like it super black or anything like that, me personally, but so we're just going to spritz it down one more time. Give it probably another 45 minutes to an hour, and then we're going to go ahead on and wrap this thing up. I will see you guys shortly. Alright, now it's back off the smoker. The temperature is actually sitting around 145, 150 or so. It's been roughly 6 hours. So you can see how pretty it is. We're going to wrap this thing up, put it back on, let it get tender, and then let it rest, and then we're going to slice it up. But you can see the color on it. You can see how pretty it is. This thing is coming out just as I wanted it to. It's awesome. So I ran out of heavy duty foil, so I'm going to have to use 3 sheets of regular, it's heavy duty but not the restaurant grade. I wish I had the other stuff, but we'll make it do for what we have. So what you want to do is just make sure that you wrap it as tight as you possibly can. Just try to keep in as much of the juices as you possibly can. Good. Wrap it super tight. Fold. Bring it back again. Alright, that's a wrap. It's almost, I'm assuming maybe another 3 hours or so, and we'll be done. What I cook mine to normally around, I try to get it to around 198, but the ultimate thing for me is the probe tenderness. If the probe goes in there easy, or a toothpick, then it's done. I don't necessarily let the temp be the end all be all. I like to go by the probe test for my end all be all to see if it's tender enough. So what I'm going to do, since I didn't have the better foil, I'm going to put this in a pan, put it back on the smoker. Next time you'll see me, we'll be taking it out of the foil and slicing this thing up. Alright, we'll be back. Alright guys, welcome back. It is almost 9 o'clock. The brisket's been resting for a couple hours. We're going to go ahead and crack it open, let you see what it looks like on the inside. You can see it's got the little jiggle going on to it. Shrunk up quite a bit, but that's to be expected with a smaller brisket. I'm using a Kloss titanium serrated knife. It's a real nice knife. I like it. The serrations aren't very big, but it is serrated to help cut through the meat, but it still leaves a real clean cut. It's one of my favorite knives. So without further ado, let's start slicing. See, it is a nice moist brisket. There's plenty of juice still left in it. See the nice smoke ring on it. It's a pretty brisket, so I'm happy. piece over here that's a little suspect, so we're going to take a little piece out of that. Give it a taste test. Like I said earlier, we did use salt, pepper, and then the pork barrel barbecue rub. So I want to take a test and see what it does. It's good. It's real good, actually. Not too salty, not too peppery. It's just right. It's really, really good brisket. Like I said, you can see how moist it is. Cooked pretty much to perfection. Nice smoke ring. If I had to rate this thing, I'd really give it a 8.5 out of 10. I'm really impressed with it. I'm really happy with it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you guys. Till the next time. God bless you. Good night.